Let's get started by understanding exactly what data structures are and why they are important. Data structures are very simply a way of organizing the data that is stored in a computer or in a database. There are multiple different types of data structures, and each type of data structure represents a different way of organizing the data that is stored. Now, you might be wondering, why do we have different types of data structures? Why don't we just use the same data structure for all of our needs? Well, each data structure has its own strengths and its own weaknesses. For example, some data structures are very fast at storing and recording data, but they are slow at searching through data and retrieving it. Other data structures are the exact opposite. They are slow at storing data, but fast at retrieving it. So each type of data structure can be useful for different reasons. That is physically what data structures are in computer science, and we will be learning how to code these data structures out in JavaScript. So why would we want to do this, or why is this a useful skill to have? Well, learning how to implement data structures in your programming has a lot of value in it for many different reasons. One reason is that using data structures correctly in your programming can highly affect how fast, performant, and efficiently your applications run. Like I mentioned earlier, some data structures access and retrieve data very quickly, and some do not. Some data structures record data very quickly, while others do not. So, for example, if you are constantly storing data, but you're not going to be retrieving it that much. For example, let's say that you work at Twitter and you are in charge of storing really old tweets in a database. Then in this case, you would want a data structure like a linked list, which is really fast at recording a lot of data, even though it's not the fastest at retrieving that data. On the other hand, if you want to store very recent tweets in a way that allows a lot of people to view them very quickly, you are going to want to use a data structure that can access data quickly, such as a hash table. So, as you can see, using the correct data structures in your programming can be very crucial for making your applications run smoothly, quickly, and efficiently. Another reason to learn how to code data structures in JavaScript is that it really helps you to nail down JavaScript algorithms and a lot of important concepts that are pretty crucial to having a thorough understanding of programming in JavaScript. Many of these concepts we will cover in this course, such as constructor functions, recursion, the this keyword, the prototype object, and big O notation. And finally, one more great reason to learn how to program data structures in JavaScript is because in many programming interviews at both large companies like Google and Facebook and Amazon, as well as at smaller startup companies, you will be asked to implement in code these exact data structures that we will be going over in this course. Interviewers tend to ask you to do this because if you can correctly code out a data structure, it shows that you know how to make a program run efficiently, you have an in-depth understanding of JavaScript, and it also shows that you have solid computer science fundamentals as well, which companies like to see. So as you can tell, there are a lot of benefits to learning data structures and how to code them out in JavaScript, and that is what we are going to be focusing on throughout the entirety of this course. Let's get started.